Every single year, lakhs and lakhs of aspiring candidates dive into the world of bank exams. It's without a doubt one of the most competitive fields out there. But what if I told you there's a core secret that could completely simplify your prep for all the big ones: IBPS, SBI, and RRB? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify exactly that.
So, you gotta ask, what's the big deal? Why are so many graduates pouring years of hard work into trying to crack these exams? You see, it's not just about getting any job, it's about securing a very specific kind of future. Let's take a look at what that package really includes.
You know, it really boils down to this incredible combination of perks. You're talking about rock-solid job security, a really competitive salary with great allowances, and a pretty decent work-life balance. But honestly, the real kicker for a lot of people is the speed of it all. The recruitment process is lightning fast, and promotions can come up surprisingly quickly. It's the whole career package, really. Okay, with that kind of appeal, the next logical question is, how do you get in? Before we even touch the syllabus, we've got to understand the structure of the exam. Think of it as knowing the layout of the battlefield. So, let's take a quick look at the selection process.
It's basically a three-stage filter. First up, you have the preliminary exam, or what everyone calls prelims. This is just a screening test. Your only job is to qualify. The real battle begins with the main exam. Your score here is what actually matters for the final list. And for those of you aiming for the officer roles, there's that one final step, the interview.
Now, the path you take really depends on the role you're after. If you're targeting a clerk position, it's a two-stage race. Prelims, then mains. Simple enough. But the probationary officer, or PO role, throws in two major extra hurdles: a descriptive paper during the mains, and of course, that final interview. And yeah, that means the overall difficulty level is definitely a notch higher.
All right, let's get to the absolute heart of this explainer. This is the big secret I mentioned at the start. Whether you are prepping for SBI, IBPS, or an RRB exam, whether it's for a PO or a clerk, the core syllabus is pretty much the same. You get this right, and one solid preparation can open up so many doors. Let's break it all down. So let's kick things off with the English language section. Now, this is a part of the exam that so many people tend to underestimate. It's a huge part of the prelims, and here's the real catch: the sectional timer. You've usually got just 20 minutes to tackle 30 questions. That makes your speed absolutely non-negotiable. Getting a solid grip on these core topics is essential. Everything you see here, from reading comprehension to parajumbles, is basically designed to test three things: your grammar, your vocabulary, and how fast you can read and understand. This is exactly why a simple habit, like reading a newspaper every day, can be a total game changer for your score. Next up, we have quantitative aptitude. If English was all about speed in reading, this section is all about speed in calculation, mixed with a really solid understanding of the basic concepts. The goal here is simple: solve problems as fast as you can and with zero errors. Now, for the preliminary exam, these topics are your absolute highest priority. I can pretty much guarantee you will see questions on simplification, number series, and data interpretation. And all of that has to be backed up by a strong foundation in arithmetic basics, like percentage, profit and loss, and the rest. And now we come to the section that many consider both a massive scoring opportunity and a super tricky hurdle: reasoning ability. This is where your logical thinking skills are really put to the test, all while the clock is ticking down. The syllabus here covers a pretty wide range, from things like syllogism to blood relations, but there is one area on this list that carries way more weight than pretty much all the others combined, and it needs your special attention. And there it is: puzzles and seating arrangements. These two topics basically make up the bulk of the entire reasoning section. You simply cannot afford to skip them. Let me be crystal clear. Mastering puzzles isn't just a suggestion, it is a non-negotiable requirement if you want to clear this exam. Period. So, you've managed to clear the prelims. Awesome, congratulations! Now for the mains exam, where two brand new subjects show up to the party: general awareness and computer awareness. And let me tell you, these sections are often the tiebreaker, the deciding factor in your final selection. For the mains, you have to broaden your focus. A minimum of 6 months of current affairs is pretty much the standard. But here's a little pro tip. Based on what we've been seeing in recent exams, they are asking way more static GK questions now. You know, things like national parks, headquarters of organizations, stuff like that. Don't sleep on this area. Give it some extra focus.
Look, knowing the syllabus is just step one. The real challenge, the real secret sauce, is knowing how to prepare in a smart, effective way. So let's turn all this information into an actual, actionable strategy for success.
Practice is every bit as important as learning, and that's where mock tests come into play. This is a pretty solid schedule to follow. For prelims, you should be aiming for 2 to 3 mocks every week. For mains, at least 1 is a must. And this isn't just about testing what you know, it's about building your stamina and mastering time management.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question. You've just spent an entire hour taking a mock test. You see your score pop up on the screen. What do you do next? Just close the tab and move on? Nope. The most important part of this whole process is actually what you do after the test is over.
And the answer is analysis. This is where the real growth, the real improvement happens. You have to go back and analyze every single mistake to figure out why you got it wrong. This helps you pinpoint your weak spots. And then you have to reattempt every question you messed up. Don't just glance at the solution. Actually solve it again yourself.
All right, let's do a quick rapid-fire round. Knowing what not to do is just as critical as knowing what to do. Here are some of the most common pitfalls that aspirants fall into. You need to avoid these at all costs.
First off, underestimating the English section. So many people just think, hey, I've been studying English since I was a kid, I'll be fine, and then they barely practice it. This is a huge, huge mistake. A great score in English can seriously boost your overall rank. Next up, not working on your mental math. I get it, it's tempting to use a calculator when you're practicing at home, but you won't have that luxury in the exam hall. Every single second you can save on a simple calculation is a second you can spend on a much tougher question.
And finally, we have this deadly combination, avoiding puzzles because they feel too hard, and at the same time, not revising what you've already learned. This is just a clear recipe for disaster, because you're skipping the most important topic while also forgetting everything else.
We've covered the syllabus, we've talked strategy, and we've gone over the mistakes to avoid. Now, let's just wrap this all up with some final tips to carry you through your preparation and all the way to that finish line. These 4 principles right here, they are your ultimate keys to success. Consistency is what turns those small daily efforts into huge results over time. Regular revision makes sure that knowledge actually sticks. Confidence is what will get you through the tough days, and having a smart plan makes sure all that effort is going in the right direction. So, after all of this, what's the one big takeaway? It's this simple but incredibly powerful idea. You're not just preparing for one single exam, you're actually preparing for dozens of them at the same time. By focusing on this one common syllabus, your path to getting that bank job is so much clearer than you probably think. Now go out there and make it happen.